bonjour from Montreal. Hello.
Bonjour, bonjour from my living room.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Seth and Sean Sports on a different day, Friday. Happy Friday, Seth. Your beard is coming in quite well.
We call this busy season beard. It's like playoff hockey.
Wait,
except Carly
Rip
probably
Van-
will not want me to keep it for that long.
That's what I was thinking. Rip Van Winkle beard over here. I'm just curious how long that's going to last when Carly gets back into town.
She doesn't. You think she looks at this point? She don't really care.
How long is it going to last when Carly gets back into town?
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's when it gets itchy, and then I'll shave it. It has nothing to do with
I'd like to see if you can grow it the whole week. By next week, let's see if it's still on.
This is like 2 weeks. This is like 2 weeks for me.
Oh, okay. Well, this is like 5 days. So yeah, there's nothing there. It's awesome. I go through like 3 razor blades a year. It's fabulous. Anyway.
That's what happens when you're blonde.
Yeah, well, okay. So on today's show, our latest shiny new toy over here, which happens to relate to the Army-Navy broadcast that our illustrious president, and I can say that because I'm in Canada, he may not let me back in, but that's okay. I don't really mind that. And but it is wicked cold here, Seth. I mean, it is 22 degrees. Mitch did bring pants and a jacket, and then he left the jacket in New York. So I'm not exactly
sure. Did he not assume that it may be a little colder in Ottawa?
No, so what happened was, okay, for those that are tuning in for the first time, and I assume that there are not many of you, but let's go through this.
Not that are expecting to hear us on Friday at 4:00.
Exactly. So
we're marketed so well.
Last year by Randy, the illustrious Randy Zelia and the Back Sports Page broadcast team. Last year, my brother Mitch turned 50, and I flew to Arizona and threw him a party, which one does on their 50th birthday. Seth and I will both be enjoying our birthdays together as usual on the weekend of May 1st and May 3rd. Anyway, so at that time, my brother said, "Hey, I want to do a trip with you for your birthday." Great, I'm in. Where should we go? Oh, let's go to Cortino and go to the Olympics. Sure, because that's a good idea.
That's as brilliant as going to Rio.
Look, it's a brilliant idea if one could afford it. And if I had all the money in the world, that would be a great idea, right? And then I start looking into it, and I know what the flight's going to cost. I kind of know what the tickets are going to cost. And then I looked into the hotel. Anywhere within 20 miles of Milan Cortino was $1,200 a night.
Yeah, no.
And you're not going there for one day. That's not the way that works. So, and then you have he wants to go for the gold medal hockey game. Right. Look, I love my brother. I truly do. But my brother thinks in this instead of this. And so he's got grandiose ideas. So anyway, so that manifested itself into we're not going to do that. So let's go on an Islanders road trip. Favorite teams of the Islanders makes sense. So this
sounds eerily familiar to our to our discussion and trip in the summer,
except for the fact that we're not following one team. We're just going. Okay, so and that limits the amount of games that you can do because you need 4 games in a row over the course of a certain period of time at a certain place. So the second chance was Mitch says, let's go to Western Canada and go see Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Seattle. And that sounds like a wonderful trip. It truly does, Seth. And then I look at the schedule, and it's in the middle of January. And again, I look at it.
A man who doesn't wear pants.
Pants,
I'm
right.
not sure Calgary in the middle of January feels like a good fit.
But you know what? I said, sure, let's do it. Okay. It's only a 12-hour drive over the Rockies. No big deal. Like, we'll be able to do this with no problem. All right. Luckily for me, and I say luckily because I really didn't want to do this trip. Luckily for me, we both had sales conferences in the middle of this trip, so we couldn't go. So now we say, all right, we're going to go Eastern Canada and go New York, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal. That sounds like a great trip, except it's in the last 2 weeks of a quarter, and it's still in March. So, Seth, it is 26 degrees outside right now. I have driven through 3 blizzards on the way here. One from Toronto to Ottawa, one from Ottawa to the game last night, and one now from Ottawa to Montreal where we landed today. And it is snowing outside. Meanwhile, my brother, who I have begged and pleaded to bring a jacket, brought one that didn't fit him and then just gave it up. So he is walking around with a hoodie in which he says it's cold. Well, no shit.
Now, mind you, yes, he lives in Arizona, but he did grow up in New York.
He hasn't been there in like 25 years.
Yes, but we know what cold feels like. Arizona 75 is considered breezy.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, they're right now they are having a heat advisory in Arizona at 94 in the middle of March, while we are freezing our tushies off here in Montreal.
But at least you get to bond with your brother.
I do. And, it's been a great trip. Look, there are things that obviously the two of us don't mesh on, as any two people don't. But at the end of the day, it has been a great trip. We've gone 2-1 so far. We won in New York. We won in Toronto. We lost last night with 16 seconds left on the damn clock. Yeah, that's the worst feeling in the world because you were playing for the tie so you could get the point. And then they put it in with 16 seconds.
The worst feeling in the world has to be if you were a member of the Santa Clara basketball team.
So, to be fair, I have not watched very much of the tournament. So, I know Kentucky did something today that lost me that game. So, what happened?
Pretty much good game. Santa Clara hits a 3 to go up with 2 seconds left.
Yeah.
And Kentucky's point guard takes a shot for maybe a foot past the half court line and nails it.
Nice. So Jerry West from the finals, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and then they blew him out in overtime. There have been a couple. Look, as I've discussed with you, this is the least interested I've been in the tournament in years. But because of my circumstance and what I'm doing, what I do work wise, and B, I have no family here. I've watched more of it than I can remember.
Now, circumstances being that he actually has to work this week. That's his circumstance.
Well, work both Saturday, Sunday. So.
Understood. So, and truth be told, I've been driving most of the week, so I have not watched much of the games. I do realize that my bracket is pretty good, though, outside of picking North Carolina to go to the Sweet 16. How they lose at home, literally at home in Greenville. Man, I thought that this was a run. And I had BYU in the Final 8. So other than that, I'm doing pretty well, though. Who do you have for your winner?
I have Arizona over Illinois in my final.
Okay, and I have Arizona over Houston. So not helpful on the winner. Your Final 4, sir?
Arizona, Illinois. Let me go back and take a look.
Because we can say this now because normally we do it before our picks are in. Now our picks are actually in. They've been in for a day.
Yep. I think it was Arizona, Illinois, Duke, Iowa State.
Ooh.
But let me take a quick look. But admittedly, I know less this year than any year I've ever done it, which may actually do me well.
That's just what I'm doing pretty well. I'm second in my pool somehow without watching one game, which is generally I watch a lot. So I'm very happy about not watching right now.
Well, all I'm trying to do is not get last place. So, yeah.
Dude, I'm in a work league where everybody knows I host a sports podcast. If I come in last place, this is going to be awful. In fact, I was told by some, including my boss, that I should be ineligible because I know too much about sports. And I was like, yeah, the reason that you win this is not because you know anything about sports. It's probably because you know nothing about sports, and it's all random.
So did you hear about any of the Duke game against Siena?
I did. I heard that
your future coach.
I heard that my future. So let's be clear why he is the future coach. So it's Jerry McNamara, the pride and joy of Scranton, Pennsylvania, who went to Syracuse, won a national championship, yada yada yada, and is the welcome son of Syracuse basketball. He now coaches for Siena. I heard that he was up at halftime, like 14, right?
It was a little bit more than that. They were up 13 at the half. But what was it? They lost by 6, but they were in the game to the last 15 seconds. But what was so interesting, I've never seen this before. They didn't make a substitution until 9 seconds left.
I did hear that. And look, you know who your guys are, right? I mean, you're going to run it. If you are a 16 seed, I can understand doing that. You play your guys. These are the guys. These are the guys that are going to win.
Well, I mean, the problem was they got tired in the second half and only shot 6 for 29 from the floor.
Sure.
So I get it. And I mean, Shire said it best. We got outcoached and we got outplayed. And they did. And really, the turning point was one of the stranger plays I've ever seen. The Siena, I don't know any of the guys' names on Siena, went in for a dunk, missed. They got the rebound, missed the second dunk. And mind you, these weren't blocks. They just missed 2 consecutive dunks.
This is Charles Smith, except for dunking.
Well, no. Charles Smith got blocked. These weren't blocked. These were missed dunks.
They missed the dunk. Okay.
Twice. When was the last time you saw a team miss 2 consecutive dunks?
Fair.
And then Duke got the rebound and went the other way for a dunk. And that was kind of the turning point from a that was kind of the changing of the
the momentum change.
Momentum changer. It was a pretty good first day. The High Point Wisconsin game was shocking, to be honest. It didn't feel like they were anywhere near that game. And then suddenly came back and won. Then North Carolina was hysterical. I'm sorry. You lose by 18 at home.
Yeah, you're basically at home, right? You're played at Greenville, South Carolina. You are home. I picked them and BYU because I thought both of them were at home. BYU's playing in Portland, and North Carolina's playing in Greenville. Like, those are home games. And for me, first round picks in the NCAA tournament, you generally pick the teams that are at home for no reason whatsoever. And Devanza could always go. I didn't know what he shot. I didn't watch or
He went for 35 and 10.
Yeah.
But
not a bad game.
Yeah, the rest of the team didn't do diddly for him, though. So,
okay.
Yeah, well, they're home.
In a little bit, we'll talk about the most interesting NBA stat line of the year. It's one Luka Doncic, who puts up 60 and was only a +7. You're kind of wondering how that works, right? So
how is that a thing?
That was a thing last night. I looked it up. I was like, are you kidding? How the heck does this go +7? Okay, so surprises. Obviously, we have a couple of upsets that happened, but any players or games, granted, I understand you're, quote, working while this is going on.
Well, I got the 4 screens on right now in the background.
Look, to be fair, you say I, quote, work every day. So, I mean.
No, I say that less now. I used to say that because you didn't.
Well, that's good. Well, that's good. But I'm saying, like, there was the quote work you have brought up numerous times in our relationship. So
I also used to put your phone number on the air to see if you could get a date. Like, times change.
Look, now I'm just getting dates on my own. I don't need your help.
Well, I can't help you anymore. I don't know anyone anymore. I'm a boring old married guy. People.
Yeah, with gray beard.
With gray beard.
And no hair.
There's some.
Okay. So Duke, TCU, Louisville, what was this? Mississippi State? Yeah, Mississippi. No, that's Michigan State. Michigan State. Anything I got to watch out for there?
No, I didn't have Louisville winning. I thought I had them losing to South Florida. No, I don't think there's anything really to discuss. I think Michigan State cruises. I think Duke cruises.
I'd like to say I picked the 5-12 with Wisconsin going down, so that's a positive on my part.
Good by
I
you.
mean, it's really easy to pick a 5-12 if you have the 12 going out the next round. Like,
No,
it
that's
doesn't
it.
really matter, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's where that is. And did I get both 5-12? So I got Texas Tech as the 5. I don't even know who Hipped is, and yet they won.
Who?
Was that?
It's High Point, probably.
High Point. So I have High Point winning. I had Vandy winning in the 5, and I have St. John's as the 5. I have St. John's going pretty far. I have them going to the Elite 8 and losing to Duke.
No, that would be the Sweet 16 and losing to Duke. They're a 5 seed.
Sweet 16?
one.
Oh, Sweet 16 and losing to Duke. Excuse me.
Wow, way to go on a limb there. Having a 5 seed go to the 16.
Well, I got UConn winning, beating Duke. Oh, I went through your Final Four. I have UConn, Houston, Arizona, Michigan. Not all that. I mean, I'm pretty chalk. It's 1-1, 2-2.
Yeah, but the only one we have in common is Zona.
I think if whoever wins the Michigan Arizona game will win the national championship. I think whoever comes out of that game. Yeah. All right. Any other games in at least in the first round you're really looking forward to? Not that you've paid close attention to any of them, but just curious.
Let me see here. I'm just kind of going. Just going through the list right now. I actually had picked VCU, so that one kind of made me feel a little pretty good. Not really. I mean, the Villanova Utah State. I'd like to see Villanova lose.
That's hysterical. Normally, people are like, "Oh, I'd like to see these people win." Nope, I'd like to see these people lose.
Nah, screw them. Willard screwed us. So why should I root for them? Yeah, I mean, look, they're first round games. There's there's hopefully one or two good upsets, one or two good games left. I mean, it was a pretty fun first day and a half. I mean, the Virginia game was close to the last minute. The Kentucky game was ridiculous ending. I just want to keep me occupied. And then in the second round is when Kansas, you were talking Kansas St. John's. That sounds like a pretty damn good second round matchup, assuming it happens. That's when you start to see some things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got second round, right? And second round, you're still in the home court. So it's a matter of who can pull upsets. Where is High Point playing? Where is that game?
I don't know.
I mean, that's the Western. Here it is. I'm sorry. I got it right here. Let's say where they're playing. No, of course.
No, I don't think so.
Why would that be helpful?
I mean, just look. You can they're in the West. That's all I really know.
Right.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Hold on a second. They are playing in Portland. Where is High Point? Any idea? Oh, yeah. Where's High Point?
No idea.
They're in the Big South, but that South could be anywhere in the Big South, which could
Thank
be
you
anywhere.
for clarifying. That was brilliant.
Oh, they're in North Carolina.
That's what I thought.
But no, my point was what I was trying to get out was it doesn't matter if they're in the Big South. They could be in the most Northwest humanly possible because the ACC has Stanford and Cal. And so the Atlantic Coast Conference doesn't matter where you are. None of these are geographically savvy anymore.
It's not really an Atlantic Coast Conference at this point. Let's
correct.
Just like the Big 10 should probably be the Big 20. Or the Big 18 or whatever the hell we are at this point. So
what's interesting is that my brother Mitch is not a huge sports fan to begin with. He loves hockey, but that's about it. And we're walking through Manhattan.
Did you guys wear a pajama boy shirt to the Toronto game?
We did not. Nope. I wore the shirt you got me. I wore the Turgeon shirt. The 77. I wore that to UBS. I wore my jersey to Toronto, and I wore my jersey last night. I may go back to the 77 shirt for Montreal tomorrow.
You fly home on Sunday?
Fly home on Sunday. Yep. Fly home on Sunday. And you'd be proud of me. Dates are lined up for Tuesday and Wednesday. Look at that.
You got one for me?
Yes. How's that? We have one viewer. We know that is not Carly, but if it is, expect a phone call in like 5 minutes.
Carly's right now probably on the teacup ride. So
Or
I'm
the
doubting
Matterhorn.
that.
I think that would be absolutely hysterical if this was the one show that she was watching and we started.
She's in Disney World. You really think she's listening to this show?
No, I think she's putting up with your kids right now, who want to go like this to different places. Wait, was that Morgan or was that little dude?
That's Morgan.
Morgs. Yep, little dude is somewhere else on a different ride.
Yeah,
is
here.
Harley alone with them, or is somebody else with them?
Nope. There you go.
Oh, well.
Figment.
So should I text Carly and say good luck to you?
You can.
Because two kids in Disney World is not easy.
Look, give her credit. This was her idea. She knew I couldn't come, and she loves Disney, and Morgan loves it. Jake, I think, is a little indifferent, but what's he gonna do? Stay home with me? Watch basketball for 14 hours?
Did you want to give? Wait. Did you give him that option? Because I think he would absolutely do that.
No, I did not give him that option. You can go to Disney World or you can sit home. Plus, remember, he had the flu for the week before, so he watched more garbage TV than anything known to man before that. So, did you know he had the flu?
No.
Yeah, he had the flu. He got healthy the day before we left.
Okay. So I'm glad he's fit. Of course he did, by the way. He got better the day before you went to Disney World. I can't imagine why that would happen. Right? So what they call it SID, sudden infant whatever, right?
Death syndrome? What are you talking about?
I know the rest is not great, but I was going to say this is sudden recovery syndrome.
Please stop talking.
Sudden recovery syndrome. Sudden recovery syndrome.
No, he was miserable at home. He would have rather been in school.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. One can only watch so much crap until you're our age and you have no energy to do anything else. So anyway, do we now become Venezuela's second state? Is that how this works?
That was the other thing I was going to ask. So how much of the WBC did you watch?
4 or 5 innings.
Oh, so of which game or just the one game?
Collectively. I watched the last 2 of the game against the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched, I think, the last 3 again in the final.
Got it. Okay. So I watched most of the Venezuela game. And I watched most of the final, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, overall,
I didn't know who any of the pitchers were in the Venezuela.
Marino.
Well, except for fair.
I mean, I know you're not the hugest of baseball fans, but Luis Severino comes into play. Look, I think the WBC is a good thing. Okay, I think it is. They're trying. I guess the 4 nations came after WBC, but what they're trying to do is get something similar to the 4 nations, right? The hype that the 4 nations brings. The problem is, it's hockey versus baseball, which for those that don't watch hockey, I suggest you do because it is far more exciting than baseball is. Number 2, the Americans.
How is it possible? Come on,
the Americans. I think it was Cameron Maben. Yeah, it was. It was Cameron Maben who used to play for the Tigers that said, look how the Puerto Ricans are acting. Look how the Dominicans are acting. Look how the Venezuelans are acting. Americans, what the hell? Like, seriously, like you're playing this like you're the Russians of the 1980s in hockey where it's just there's no emotion. And I know that changed with Bryce Harper in the finals, certainly. and maybe in the semis. But up until then, watching the Latin American teams was a lot of fun. Watching the American teams was
how
not
it always
fun.
is in baseball. Like who always seems the most creatively entertaining? What De La Cruz, Acuna. They all have flamboyance. They all have charisma personified. What U.S. player really has that?
Well, Bryce Harper does, right? If you don't want to say charisma, you can say attitude, right? Or you can say passion. Is passion a better word? You don't necessarily need charisma. You could have
right, but if you're going to have that flamboyance, you need charisma too.
When Bryce
attitude
Harper
and charisma are not the same
run in the finals, I mean that was like he showed, right?
Look, after he hit the home run in the finals, he celebrated.
Bryce Harper is the type of guy that you hate to have on another team and you would love to have on yours. Like he's that guy. Like I absolutely despise him on the Phillies. But I also know
his contract.
Yeah, I don't mind his contract.
He's got 8 more years?
He's got 8 more years at 30 million, 27 to 30 million. He's a first base DH and he plays first base. He actually plays it. Here's the thing. Compare him with Aaron Judge. Okay? Mm-hmm. Judge is a better player right now. No question. Okay? No question. Judge is a much bigger player. Bigger as in stature. He's huge. Sure. Right? He's 6'5", 260, right? Give or take. Okay. He plays outfield. He is not going to play outfield for the rest of his career. There is zero chance.
No, he's probably got 3 or 4 more years.
Okay, so for the last 4 years, he's getting paid about $45 to $50 million. Okay? Mm-hmm. And he is going to be a DH because he has not learned to play first base. I don't believe he can learn to play first base. And there he is. He's a DH because he can't play the outfield. Bryce Harper took it upon himself. Granted, he had an injury that forced this.
Yeah, I was going to say it was forced upon him.
But he is a first baseman. He was a catcher. He is much more nimble than Aaron Judge is.
Look, as of now, there's no argument. But Judge is a hell of an athlete. Now, he may be too tall at 6'7" to be a first base because to bend over, it just may be too difficult. Yeah. But I don't know if I would throw it again. I would say it's out of the realm of possibility at some point. Okay. I just don't think it's –
he'd obviously have to learn, right? So Bryce Harper's contract runs through his when he's 38. At 38, he is earning $22 million. So it decreases. Okay? So 38, 22. Aaron Judge, and granted, we all know Aaron Judge is a better player right now. I am not making that claim whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But Aaron Judge is going to go to about 39, and at 39, he's going to make $40 million. Look, so you tell me which contract you want.
Yeah. Fair. Look, we know what happens at the back end of all these deals.
Yep.
And you sign Judge, you needed to pay him this to keep him. If you don't keep him, your team is irrelevant for the next 2 years ago, your team is irrelevant for the next 3 to 4 years.
Agreed. He's going to San Francisco and he's going to play there. I mean, and then that's the butterfly effect, right? There's no Rafael Devers. There's no, it continues to go on. There's no Matt Chapman. Maybe there's a Matt Chapman, but it does mean that there's less resources for the Giants. And Aaron Judge becomes the face of the Giants instead of the face of the Yankees. That's 100% true. And the Yankees, as we have said numerous times on this show, are just old. And they have been old for the last, I don't know how many years, but they've been old. But even Judge, because he got such a late start, Judge is 31 going into he is 34 right now. Mm-hmm. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more years on that contract.
Yeah. And the last 2 or 3 are probably going to be pretty painful.
Bryce is 33. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more years at $26 million
Yeah.
as opposed to 40.
I guess to be fair, that seems a lot more, considering what contracts are at this point, that seems a lot more reasonable than Judge at 45. The difference being Judge is one of the 2 best non-pitchers in the world.
100%.
And Harper, I don't know if Harper is on a downswing at this point. I mean, he may not be an MVP candidate, but last year he wasn't very good, if I remember correctly. And
you're there.
Now, if this is a one-off, and he's got 3 or 4 more years at as a high-end player, in the last 2 years, it is what it is, so be it. But
last year he goes 261. He only played in 130. I mean, the other thing is Aaron Judge generally plays most of the year. Last year he had an off year. So last year Bryce Harper goes 27 homers, 75 RBIs with a 261 average. Not great. Not great.
Yeah. If that's what you're getting for the next 4 years,
80.
Yeah, if you're getting 290, 30, 110.
Here's the thing, Seth. If you're getting 23 and 7, let's say you're getting what you got last year, 27 and 75 with the 260 average. The unfortunate part is that's a $20 million player right now.
It's also a middle of the road player at this point.
Correct. So he's getting paid what a middle of the road player would be, with the potential of being better. And he's also a first baseman.
Let me ask, though. Like you mentioned, the Yankees are old, and they are. There's no question about that. I don't think the Phillies are particularly young either.
Oh, no. Phillies are an old team.
They're a very old team.
Phillies are playing for because they're definitely, I mean, looking at their, and we'll go into a little bit more for baseball next week. Yeah. So Real Muto's 34, Harper's 32, Trey Turner's 32.
I mean, Turner's got 7 more years on his deal. Turner signed a long-term deal. Real Muto just re-signed.
It's a long deal.
I mean,
yeah,
he's
for 3 more years because they couldn't get Bichette. Yeah, I mean,
it was only a 5-year deal.
They're not young. No. Turner got like a 11-year deal.
I thought he got like a 10-year, like $300 million deal.
Yeah, I said 11 years. Turner's was huge. Turner's
right, but how long ago did he sign?
Oh, he's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more years at $27 million. He's going until he's 40. He's going until 2033.
And
2033.
He may have fallen off the ledge already.
Oh no, no. His WAR was 5.4 last.
Was it really that
WAR
good?
was 5.4.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought he fell pretty deep.
304 average, 94 runs, 36 steals. I mean,
I took it back.
He does Trey Turner stuff. That's who he is. That's it. That's his game. His game is speed. His OPS plus was 121. Now, is that Aaron Judge? No, not one bit. I mean, but as you said, there are only 2 or 3 players that are Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge's OPS last year was like a freaking video game. It was 215.
Look, there's only two non pitchers that you can claim are the best players in baseball. And Shohei's a partial pitcher. I mean, so the only who else could you name? Maybe Bobby Witt Jr. But Judge is the best non-pitcher in baseball.
Agreed.
And if you have to overpay for 3 years to get 4 more at a high level, look, it's not like you're looking at the American League right now and saying, man, this is the pantheon of greats right at this point. American League they're right there. especially if Cole can stay healthy once he comes back.
Yeah, and we'll get into our Major League Baseball preview next week for sure. Yeah, 100%. I won't say I was captivated by the WBC because I wasn't, not one bit. I was captivated I was actually happy the U.S. lost to Italy because hell, we should lose once in a while and show
Well, in
that we're not
baseball, we do.
impervious.
I mean, we are not the preeminent baseball. I mean, we're right up there, but this isn't like women's basketball.
No, but we're the preeminent pitching team by far.
Yes.
Not even close. So pitching generally wins.
Yeah, Scooble, Skeens. I was surprised Nolan McLean was there.
Yep. So Noah McLean pitched the last game because Scooble said he's only going to pitch one game. So that's why McLean took that.
But I still think that still says something that he was on that starting rotation. Now, there may have been other people who turned it down. I don't know.
Well, remember, you can't have Garrett Cole, right? So part of the thing about the WBC is that if you were injured in the last year, chances are a major injury in the last year, chances are you were not going to be able to play because insurance wouldn't cover you. And that's why half of the Dominican team was out, including Francisco Lindor, right? So the fact is, like, pitchers like Garrett Cole, who probably would have made it over Noah McLean, well, Garrett Cole's ineligible, right? Clayton Kershaw couldn't pitch in the last one because of injury. This year he said, I'm retired. Good luck with that. You don't need insurance on me. I'm good. And that was a funny retribute to people saying, oh, he's 40. How the heck? Well, I'm retired. So if I tear off my arm, I don't really care. I'm not playing next year either. Neither do the Dodgers. But look, it was a good – my brother asked me, hey, aren't these guys supposed to be in spring training? And the answer is yes. They 100% are supposed to be in spring training. And this is something that goes on during spring training, which I think is to the betterment for the pitchers. Maybe not for the hitters, but for the pitchers certainly, because you are geared. Normally you have a little bit of a wind-up period in order to get ready for the season. These guys are ready. I mean, I don't know if you saw Paul Skeens. That guy's throwing smoke over and over.
Dude, that guy can literally not pitch for a month and get up and throw 100. He's
awesome, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think the only question that you have is which team is he next going to be on? Because
as much as I'd like for him to stay in Pittsburgh, there's just no way.
Well, there is a way. Let's understand, there is a way. It's called the next collective bargaining agreement. There is a way.
You think you're going to have a hard cap?
Here's the thing. If you have a hard cap, you have to have a floor.
Correct.
Even if you have a soft cap, you have to have a floor. Any kind of cap, you have to have a floor. If Pittsburgh has to have a floor, and that floor is what, 40 million more than today, I think Pittsburgh may be able to keep him if he wants to stay.
You think he wants to stay?
Well, I think
if they're relevant, and this seems to be a year where they could become relevant.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, if to use your term, if you are a baseball fan, you want, much like you and I discussed Joe Mauer staying in Minnesota, and we loved it, right? We loved Mauer. In fact, when Mauer was reportedly going to the Yankees, you as a Yankee fan said, no, I want him to stay in Minnesota. And the unfortunate part is injuries derailed pretty much the rest of his Hall of Fame career. Correct. But he did stay in Minnesota, unlike other luminaries such as Paul Molitor, who did not stay in Milwaukee, but Robin Yount did, right? And George Brett. You always want those, and Aaron Judge will be a Yankee forever, right? Those types of guys.
Yeah.
You want this guy in Pittsburgh if you're a baseball fan. Yeah. But you're not Bob Nutting. And at the same time, Bob Nutting, that's the owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay. That sounded something very weird.
That was not meant to be very weird. You're not Robert Nutting. You are not Robert Nutting. And you're also not Paul Skeens. And if Paul Skeens wants to go to a winner, he has that power. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but certainly in the next 3 years.
But someday and for the rest of your
No, I'm just saying, like, he has the ability to say, I'm not going to re-sign here.
Yes.
And if he says that, right? Another guy is Bobby Witt Jr., right? Signs a 13-year deal with Kansas City, which we loved, right?
Yes.
Paul Skeens, they could make that offer to him. They could. There are two differences. First of all, his agent. And second, the fact that the longest contract that the Pittsburgh Pirates have ever signed, would you like to guess who it is and how much? This is off the top of my head, by the way.
Is it that third baseman that was like a rookie or something that they signed to like a 6-year extension?
So that would be Ke'Bryan Hayes, and he is now on the Reds. And no, that's not.
Okay.
That's hold on. Years wise, that is the longest. You are correct.
Okay, give me some dap on that.
I'll give you that. How about money wise?
McCutchen?
Biggest? Nope.
Is it Derek Bell or something obscure like that?
It is not. It is the most money spent on a extension is a guy that is still on the team. Most money spent on a free agent is not on the team. Can you get? And Derek Bell played 1 year, so he doesn't get either one of those.
Fair enough.
But you're in the same ballpark. It's kind of like a Derek Bell situation, but he's a pitcher.
I don't know who it is.
Okay, so the most money they have ever spent on a free agent is Francisco Liriano, 3 years and $39 million.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
Okay. Now, the most they have ever spent on an extension, I believe, is 5 years and $102 million, and that's for Brian Reynolds, who's still on the team.
But he was trade bait last year, if I remember.
Yeah, it may be 6 years, but it's something along those lines. Paul Skeens is going to get $40 million a year. So you're going to go from 6 years and 102 to 10 years and 400, or even 6 years and 360. You're going to have to triple it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think the Pirates are ready for that. But the only way, Seth, is if we lose baseball in 2027, which is looking more and more likely. And because with the Kyle Tucker contract, owners are digging their heels in and saying, I want a cap. This is ridiculous what the Dodgers are doing. And to be fair, the Dodgers are following the rules. I don't have any problems with the Dodgers doing. I didn't have any. As a Mets fan, I hate the Yankees. Okay? As a Mets fan, I always hated the Yankees. As a Mets fan, when George Steinbrenner was buying everybody under the sun, I hated the fact that George Steiner bought everybody under the sun. And the one thing I said more than anything else is I wish that was my owner. Because I respected George Steinbrenner for buying everybody under the sun. And I wish that was the case for me. Now I got Daddy Warbucks, and it's nice. It's not winning, but it's nice. But we're still playing under the same rules. So if you want new rules, change the rules. And if you're the Dodgers and you're Guggenheim and you're Mark Walters. Sure. Have at it. I'm totally down with whatever he's doing and whatever they're doing. And if they want to sign Kyle Tucker, the one thing I can say is that while the Dodgers did win the World Series last year, the team with the most money spent doesn't always win. So,
and let's also remember they were a half inning away from not winning.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. So they don't always win.
It was not a dominant World Series performance.
No. So let's switch topics for a second. So let's move on to the NBA. We got 15 minutes left.
Yep.
So we got 70 games in the books, 82 games in a season. First and foremost, an update on my betting. Miami, 38 wins, win. San Antonio, I had the over-under was 37. San Antonio, over-under, 41, win. Washington, over-under was 21.5. I have the under. They have won 16 games and are 0-10 in their last 10.
There you go.
I'm thinking I'm probably good on this one. That's a 3 for 3 this year.
Well done, sir. That $50 will buy you an appetizer on your first date.
It's about 80, but sure, let's go with that.
Okay.
Okay. The Pistons are 4 games above the Celtics, 5.5 above the Knicks, and 7.5 above Cleveland. And we have a problem. But Houston, we have a problem. Cade Cunningham has a injury. I believe I read yesterday it was a collapsed lung. That's an injury, my friends. Like a pretty big one. And so I don't know how long he is out. There is not an immediate timetable.
No, I don't think anyone can even guess. It's a collapsed lung. I don't think when it was the last time you saw a collapsed lung in basketball. What'd you say?
I don't believe I've ever seen a collapsed lung in basketball. I don't know. I mean, I can ask Wikipedia. I can ask Perplexity. When was the last time a collapsed lung happened in basketball? So let's do it. When was the last NBA player to have a collapsed lung? I love AI. Okay, the last player to have a collapsed lung was, according to Perplexity, we are not sponsored by anybody. Oh, it said Cade Cunningham. Okay, before that, hold on. Before that, it's called a pneumothorax, and it was CJ McCollum, and he had 2 of them. He returned to play after several weeks each time. So we're looking at 3 to 4 weeks, which is the end of the regular season.
And look, they may be able, if they can avoid Charlotte. I can't believe I actually used those words. They may be able to get through the first round without him. May.
Okay, so first they have to win the division, right? They're only, 2 games up. They play Golden State away, probably a win. The Lakers away, that's a loss.
Agreed.
The Hawks away, that's probably a loss. New Orleans away, that's a win. Oh, sorry, these are all home. Sorry. I'd still say the same result. I don't think home and away for this team matters. So I'll say Golden State is a win. LA is a loss. Atlanta's a loss. New Orleans is a win.
Atlanta's won. That's right. Atlanta's won like 10 in a row, haven't they?
Right. 2-2. At Minnesota, definitely a loss. At Oklahoma City, a loss. 2-4. Home against Toronto, probably a loss. 2-5. Okay, let's say 3-4. Home against Minnesota, a loss. 3-5. At Philadelphia, Philadelphia is not tanking. We'll make that 3-6. At Orlando, not tanking. 3-7. Home against Milwaukee, that's a win. 4-7. At Charlotte, that's a loss. 4-8. And at Indiana, that's a win. So they are probably
based on that. You're at 55 wins.
You're at 55 wins. Yep.
So Boston would have to go either 9-3 or 10-2, contingent on, I don't know, the tiebreaker.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, definitely possible. I mean, part of the thing about the rest of the regular season, Seth, is how many teams are you playing that are tanking, right? And I just looked at Boston's schedule. They are playing Memphis once, that's a tank. Milwaukee once, that's a tank. And New Orleans once, that's a tank. So they play 3. The Knicks would have to go what? Perfect? Which they're not going. They have to go 11-1. And they're playing, let's see how many tanking teams they play. They play, I think they have an easy schedule. They play Chicago tank, Memphis tank, New Orleans tank, Washington tank, Brooklyn tank. They play 5 tanking teams.
Yeah, but they're the Knicks. They're going to probably lose one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, probably to Washington, just so it will screw me over on the betting pool. But they do end with Boston so they end their last 3 games at home against Boston, Toronto, and Charlotte. So good stuff. Definitely good stuff. But yeah, Seth, if they face the Hornets are the 10 right now, the 76ers are the 9, Miami's the 8, Orlando's the 7. Detroit without Cade Cunningham, are they a favorite in any of those series?
Probably not, which is why you could give him the MVP. Look, we still don't know how certain things are going to play. Like Charlotte's never been in a playoff before.
Sure. Well, they
the
have
Magic have been incredible.
First, right?
What'd you say?
Playing game first. They're in the 10th spot, so they got to win 2 games to even make it to the playoffs.
Agreed. The Sixers are a strange situation because you have no idea who's healthy, who's not, what you're getting out of people.
Sure.
I mean, the Sixers could be playing without Maxey, Embiid, and George.
Yes, they could.
So I can't really answer on that one. Miami, who the hell knows what Miami is at this point? They're just there. But yeah, I don't know if they would be a favorite. I mean, literally, you are looking at it. It feels like without Cunningham, you're looking at a 3-team race.
So last night they beat the Wizards. Okay, not a huge success, but just to put this into perspective, their leading scorer was Jalen Duren with 24. He goes 6 for 8 for the field. Okay, against a team that's tanking. Okay, completely tanking. Their second leading scorer was Duncan Robinson with 14. And Karis LeVert with 14. Sorry, their second leading scorer was Paul Reed with 17. Wow. Then Karis LeVert had 14. Kevin Huerter, your guy, has 14. And Duncan Robinson has 14. None of these guys can make – I mean, they started a guy named Dennis Jenkins.
Who?
Went 3 for – he was a plus 18, but they went 3 for 16 from the field.
That means he was 11 better than Luka in his 60-point game?
Yeah. Yep. Well, I was going to bring up the 60-point game next, but yeah, just for clarity, I just wanted to make sure I got that right. Yeah, so Luka Doncic goes 18 for 30 from the field. Hot damn. 9 for 17 from 3, 15 for 19 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 5 steals, and 3 assists, and is a plus 7. How is that possible?
Don't know.
Oh, I know, because Luka Doncic doesn't play a lick of damn defense.
Okay, I knew that. Okay, well, yeah. Not exactly.
I mean, LeBron was a plus 4, and he scored 19. I mean, he took 30 shots, Seth. Reeves took 12. LeBron took 12, and nobody else took 6.
Look, you know what you have in him. This is who he is. This is what he does.
And right now, they're in the 3 seed.
Yeah, I know. And
which will be a fun Jokic versus, who's in 6 is Denver. So they play Denver in the first round.
Oh, wow.
Nikola Jokic is looking at DeAndre Ayton going, yes, please. How much of DeAndre Ayton can I have? Yeah, I mean, if they move up.
We also know that for a team like Denver, even a team like Minnesota, the seed doesn't really matter.
See, I wouldn't put Minnesota in that bracket anymore. Minnesota has had a really, really tough year. I mean,
it's been a weird year for them, but I get the feeling after 2, conference finals appearances, they're getting ready for the playoff. They're not concerned if they're a 4 or a 5 or a 6. Other than Oklahoma City, there's no one that scares them.
That's true. Like, I don't even think Oklahoma City scares them. Like, they're the one team with Rudy Gobert that I don't think any team, quite frankly, scares them. I mean, they got the top dog in Anthony Edwards, and they got a defensive monster in Rudy. And if both of those guys work, the problem that Minnesota has had all year is playmaking. Outside of,
but they brought in the Giansu. Who's
no, I get that, but they are the equivalent of Detroit in the West. They're better than that, but I'm saying, like, they have one guy that playmakes. Everybody else is either a shooter or they're defenders. That's it.
No, I think they have a little bit more than that. I mean, Nas can do a little bit of both. I mean, Randall's an offensive player. Edwards can play defense.
No, I get the defense. That's what I'm saying. Anthony Edwards is the only one that creates his own shot.
Yes.
They play off of him. If he's not in the game, their offense is stagnant. They do not have another guy that distributes the ball. And the problem is Anthony Edwards is also their best scorer. So distributor and scorer, show me another team that wins like that. And I know you're going to show me the Thunder, which is what Shea does. But the fact is, the Thunder are an anomaly, right, of epic proportions. Yeah, I look, I love the Timberwolves. They are my West Coast team. They have always been. And the fact is, when they become in the Eastern Conference, which will happen when they expand.
That was what I was going to bring up for my last five, yeah.
Oh, 100%. So go ahead. You got 3 minutes. Have at it.
Well, I guess we're talking expansion with Seattle and Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, Vegas has been great for hockey. I don't think there's any question about that. But Vegas is not New York or Houston or LA, where they have enough people to pretty much cover 4 teams. And I don't think the NBA needs expansion. Or if it's expansion, I think it should be overseas. I am happy for Seattle that they're getting something. Although the problem is, and someone brought this up, who in Seattle has $10 billion to spend on this? Vegas, you know where the money's coming from. So they're not even sure that, even though they're going to be awarded the franchise, I don't think people are sure that there's someone in Seattle who will make that investment. But yeah, you're looking at New Orleans or Minnesota, and because Minnesota, it's easier, even though they're not as far east. You have Milwaukee, you have Chicago. There's Eastern Conference teams that kind of correlate. New Orleans, is kind of in the middle of nowhere land, both geographically and professionally.
Yeah, but they're certainly not going to move New Orleans, right?
Well, New Orleans is further east. You could. I just think you're going to move Minnesota because from a logistical standpoint, it's easier.
Oh, no. If you mean just moving conferences, yeah. I think it's good. Minnesota is definitely one. I think the other one's going to be Memphis.
Memphis is another option. Well, you're only moving one. Well, I guess Seattle and Vegas.
No,
I guess you're moving two.
You're moving 2. And I think that, quite frankly, is going to be the biggest discussion in the next contract. That might be bigger than any other rule, is teams vying to move out of the West, because having the Oklahoma City Thunder there for the next 10 years and Wemby there for the next 10 years, look at going through the East this year versus going through the West. Oh, yes, please, to anybody else. All right. Next week, we got our baseball preview and a recap of the hockey trip. And Seth will be growing his beard a little bit longer unless Carly says no. So
really? Not that whipped.
Seth Kamens, Sean Palmer, Seth and Sean Sports. We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one, everybody. See ya.